Have you heard the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? We've all had experiences where you can't see the forest for the trees, and you can't see what good could come of a difficult situation. At the time, it may have been stressful or even embarrassing. Later on, it's easier to see what you've learned and even how that experience has helped you handle other situations. Going through challenges, learning from these experiences, and becoming a stronger person because of these is how we improve and develop. Learning is about transformation, and transformation only comes when you experience something new or encounter a challenging situation. This is especially true when it comes to employability development. Employers expect graduates to be able to do a job. Experience is what provides you with the opportunity to develop all the qualities needed to do a job. You can use new experiences and challenges to add to your development by enhancing a skill you already have or developing a new one. For example, let's say you have been having an awesome trip through Europe, but you've hopped on a bus for the next city and 2 hours in you realise you've lost your passport. Ugly business. You'll need to solve this problem yesterday. This is obviously going to be tricky, as there are a number of steps to go through in order to be issued with a new passport. It's also pretty stressful, and it may impact the rest of your planned trip. You may freak out, or not. You may not be able to think clearly, or not. But irrespective of how you react, working through this situation is an opportunity to develop lots of skills, including problem solving. Even if, in hindsight, you can think of other ways you could have solved the problem more effectively, or you didn't really achieve the outcome you'd hoped for. New challenges and experiences don't need to be huge or dramatic in order to provide opportunities for development. This is particularly the case for university students who are often using non-workplace experiences to develop personally and professionally. For example, you may already be confident about your public speaking skills, but having to present at a student forum or conference may help take your skills to a higher level. The experience may also increase your confidence, not just with public speaking, but in general. You may react to these kinds of challenging situations in 3 different ways. Firstly, if you found the situation relatively easy to manage, then it has been a great opportunity for you to identify your strengths and enhance the skills that you already possess, or build on certain personal attributes. But if you don't think you managed well, then this is your chance to identify areas for improvement and look for ways you may do things differently in the future. Finally, if you found the situation challenging but you managed to successfully work your way through it, then you are likely to have drawn on skills that you may not have realised you even had, or developed entirely new ones. Now let's hear from some UQ students and graduates talking about their new experiences and the challenges that they have faced.
So a challenging situation I had when I was in Vietnam doing an intensive short course was having to organise and plan my own interviews. And what was really challenging with that was having to organise the time I was going to go see this guy for an interview, knowing what I was going to talk to him about and understanding his business well enough, knowing who was with us on the trip that I could get to come with me to support us, and fit that all into a certain time frame because we also had plenty of other things to do that day. So for me, that had to be broken down into a process of, okay, I've got to email him and make sure he's willing to do the interview. I've got to work out what I'm going to ask, make sure he's okay with those questions, read more about his business, organise the time, work out the transport to get there, and then edit it after that.
One of the challenges I had from some of these activities I've been involved in was an example with the job I've had at university. I was involved in a startup program which was responsible for, well, it was called the Student Relations Team, and it's responsible for speaking to every new student that comes to the university. So we call over 10,000 students every year, and we follow up with those students throughout the semester and following their first semester, and we also speak to students who perhaps haven't done as well as they, as they could have, and various other projects like that. So the problem and the challenge that we faced with that was it was a brand new startup. So we had never done it before. We didn't have any real guidance on how it was going to work. We were writing the computer program as we were doing it and as we were starting. And I was in the position as a supervisor within the group of all these brand new employees to somehow work through these constant problems that we would be experiencing. Although they'd generally be minor, they'd be numerous, and we really just, it took a while to iron out all the crinkles in terms of starting up a new project, as any project would have. So that was a particular challenge with one of the jobs I've had.
So, the take-home message from these student and graduate stories is that it is really important to be able to break down an experience and identify the things that happened to you and how they were challenging. This is so that you can realise that these difficult situations provided valuable learning and development. On the surface, you may recognise that an experience helped you grow in some way, but identifying exactly where the growth happened by thinking about the challenges and the totally new experiences is the first step in identifying the learning. This is critical to the employability learning process. So, what new challenges have you had lately that have made you stronger or have helped you to grow?